Today, guys, we are checking out Ethiopia's largest airport. So Ethiopia is planning on building Africa's largest airport. I've been hearing that Ethiopia has one of the best, if not the best, airlines in Africa. So let's go ahead and check out the actual airport. Y'all new here, hit that sub button, like the video. Let's check it out.
The East African nation of Ethiopia is currently building what will become the largest and likely most important airport in all of Africa.
And most important.
Ethiopian Airlines on Saturday officially started a $12.5 billion construction project.
We're all familiar with airports. They're an essential staple of the way the modern world works, and it can be easy in this day and age to take them for granted. But airports can do far more than simply give planes a place to land. In fact, they can completely transform a nation. Such a potential transformation is now beckoning on the horizon for the 135 million people who live in Ethiopia. On January the 10th, 2026, ground was broken on this $12.5
this was
billion
last month,
project,
y'all, or a couple
which is
months
set
ago.
to make the country's Oromia region the home of Africa's largest airport by 2030. The passenger capacity will be more than 4 times that of the country's current largest airport.
Oh, okay. So this airport is not going to be in Addis Ababa. This is going to be in Bishoftu. I can't pronounce it, but yeah, this place right here is where the new airport is going to be.
Times that of the country's current largest airport. And if successful, it
4
could turn
times.
a geographically centralized African nation into a major hub on the global stage. We'll touch down in East Africa to examine what is involved in this unprecedented airport project and what we can expect it to look like. Join us as we explore the now underway engineering and geopolitical marvel known as the Bishoftu International Airport.
Bishoftu.
Ethiopian Airlines was founded in the mid-1940s. Leadership at the time saw it as a modernization and state integration tool, with a major focus on domestic air travel as a solution to Ethiopia's rugged roads and terrain. It's hard not to admire their bold ambition, and they were soon rewarded for it. By partnering with Trans World Airlines, then one of the largest airlines in the US, Ethiopian Airlines managed to become a long-haul airline head and shoulders above any other on the African continent.
Wow.
And even today, it remains dominant. In the 2024 to 2025 fiscal year, Ethiopian Airlines reported $7.6 billion in revenue, an 8% increase from the preceding year. The airline serviced 19 million passengers, which constituted an 11% annual increase. It serves 155 passenger destinations and 68 freighter destinations globally across Africa, Europe, Asia, the Americas, and the Middle East, utilizing a fleet of approximately 160 aircraft, mostly various Airbus and Boeing widebodies. This makes it by far the largest African airline, and yet the overwhelming majority of those 19 million annual passengers are all traveling through Bole Airport in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's capital city. The same airport has been Ethiopia's primary hub since 1962, and despite several major renovations over the years, Bole is increasingly running up against physical constraints as Ethiopian Airlines and Ethiopia as a whole continue to grow. Back in 1962, Addis Ababa was a fraction of the size it is today. What was once a moderately populated city of just over 500,000 is now a bustling capital of nearly 6 million.
Hey, bruh.
Bole Airport sits just a few kilometers outside.
It's
of the
really
center
dope
of
to
this
see like
dense
where
urban
cities came
landscape.
from.
The airport currently relies on just one runway, with limited
Growth.
capacity for additional terminals, taxiways, or cargo facilities. Over the years, Ethiopian Airlines and the federal government have done all they can to expand the site with renovations and upgrades, but this can only stretch so far. And by the mid-2020s, the absolute limit has more or less been reached. Today, Ethiopian Airlines is a global carrier, but its hub is now experiencing more and more congestion, delays, and other ceilings that no amount of clever reorganization or scheduling changes could ever solve. The space is simply too small. However expensive or daunting, there is only one solution to keep Africa's largest airline thriving: build an entirely new airport. Enter Bishoftu, located roughly 40 kilometers southeast of Addis Ababa in the high elevation
It's not
region
too
of
far.
Oromia.
It's not too far, y'all.
The location itself is the first element of the strategy. The lakeside resort town of Bishoftu sits 1,920 meters above sea level. Believe it or not, that means it actually sits lower in elevation than Addis Ababa, which, at roughly 2,450 meters, is one of the highest capital cities on Earth.
Wow.
The result is a subtropical highland climate with mild temperatures year-round and ideal weather for aircraft performance. Bishoftu is also relatively...
Wait, y'all. So I've always wanted to know this. Bro, when I fly on an Ethiopian airplane, right? Are they serving me like Ethiopian food? Are they giving me like injera and different like are they giving me injera, bro? Or are they giving me some like what kind of foods am I getting on the Ethiopian airline? I'm a foodie, y'all, so I needs to know definitely before I start booking with Ethiopian Airlines. I want to know if they gonna give me injera and stuff like that, cause I'm gonna be hype if they come through and give me injera and then some type of meat or something. Hey, turn up.
flat, sparsely developed, and far less constrained by urban sprawl. So, even though it's quite close to the city centre, Bishoftu offers what the old Bole airport cannot: room to grow. And Ethiopian Airlines Group, the state-owned conglomerate spearheading the project, is making good use of that extra room right away. Instead of one runway like Bole, Bishoftu will have 4 parallel runways, a major expanded cargo terminal, and the capacity to service not 20 million passengers, like Bole, but 110 million per year,
110.
as well as move nearly 4 million tons of cargo. The budget for the new airport is $12.5 billion US.
Billion? I
Remarkably,
thought they
this is
oh
close
my
to
God.
constituting 10% of Ethiopia's national GDP. Ethiopian Airlines is responsible for about 20 to 30% of the funding. The remaining 60 to 70% is coming from the African Development Bank Group and international lenders from the Middle East, Europe, and China. The United States has also pledged support, though details of the exact nature of that support are yet to emerge. As extreme as this sounds, it is in fact not unprecedented. Between 2011 and 2023,
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind was the waterfall, y'all. Y'all know that they got that huge waterfall. Now they doing that the airport, bruh. Ethiopia is growing quickly. The Dubai of Africa. Bruh.
Ethiopia constructed the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the largest hydropower plant in Africa, to the tune of $5 billion US. However, unlike Bishoftu, the dam received 91% of its funding from the state budget, while citizens and diaspora communities purchased bonds and made voluntary contributions. It became a beacon of national unity, giving Ethiopians a sense that they were sharing in the creation of an electricity source they would all benefit from. Compare this with building an international travel hub on the outskirts of the city, which costs nearly twice as much and is primarily funded by outside interests. And you can see how different a project Bishoftu truly is. It isn't the first Ethiopian megaproject, but it is the country's first purely global megaproject, with an eye not just on surviving the present, but thriving geopolitically in the future. The relative scale of this project shows just how important it is and how impactful it could be. The Ethiopian government is, by all appearances, betting very big on this. Those appearances only become stronger when you take a look at some of the designs. The UK-based architecture group Zaha Hadid, named after the late Iraqi-British architect who started it, is in charge of this colossal project. The same group has also been responsible for Beijing Daxing International Airport and West Sydney International Airport. They are also working on a new terminal at Vilnius Airport in Lithuania. According to the latest specs, Bishoftu International
looks
Airport
nice,
will,
y'all.
as part of its first phase, feature a 660,000 square meter terminal and 2 runways serving a maximum of 60 million annual passengers. This will of course expand to 4 runways and 110 million annual passengers in subsequent phases, along with eventual parking for 270 aircraft. The concrete and steel used for the airport's modular structure will be locally manufactured, and the airport will also be connected to Addis Ababa and the old airport via high-speed rail. According to Zaha Hadid architects, the aesthetic inspiration for the airport's design comes from Ethiopia's vast ethnic diversity, as well as the Great Rift Valley, a section of which passes through Ethiopia and forms what researchers call the birthplace of humanity. To represent the Great Rift Valley, the terminal will have a large central spine, around which be piers of various color palettes and themes to represent diversity.
That's hard.
The airport is also
That's
being built with
hard.
a major focus on ease of transit and general comfort and accommodation, with the goal of minimizing the need for passengers in transit to leave the airport. This is due in part to the fact that Ethiopian Airlines oversees a particularly high number of flight transfers, and, of course, this number will only multiply over time. The aim of Zaha Hadid's design is to enable 80% of all connecting passengers to make their connecting flights without ever leaving the airport. This, for context, isn't exactly revolutionary, but it does put Bishoftu in the league of other top-tier global hub airports like Dubai, Doha, Istanbul, Singapore, and so on.
I've been to Doha
Dining
Airport.
facilities, outdoor facilities, and even an airside hotel are all on deck for Bishoftu in order to make passenger transit as seamless and world-class as possible.
Yeah, Doha
Meanwhile,
Airport is very
technology
nice,
and
so
techniques such as solar shading, photovoltaic arrays, and natural ventilation will all contribute to Bishoftu's hopeful attainment of LEED Gold certification by the US Green Building Council. It all sounds and looks quite nice, but what does such a development really mean for the people of Ethiopia? And for that matter, how likely is it to actually get completed and to see its potential realized? These questions matter not only for Ethiopians, but for the project itself, not to mention the airline and anyone who might benefit from its services in the increasingly globalized future. According to the International Monetary Fund, Ethiopia is assessed as debt distress/debt unsustainable, thanks to missed Eurobond payments that date back to December 2023. The fact that the Bishoftu Airport project is majority funded by outside lenders, as previously discussed, only compounds the stakes. Large airports generally create both direct and indirect employment, as well as local growth due to factors like services popping up around the airport itself. But whether or not Bishoftu will create a big jobs ecosystem depends on complementary policy and broader urban expansion. And as things currently stand, we'd have to be able to simply peer into the minds of Ethiopian officials to get deeper insight into the future on that. One hopes the necessity is recognized sooner or later, but amid the country's current financial situation, the odds are perhaps not entirely in its favor. If the airport succeeds in its goal of becoming Africa's most geopolitically important travel hub, this would create major leverage for Ethiopia that could turn into renewed prosperity for Ethiopians. But there are many ifs involved in this. And speaking of if costs overrun, or cargo and passenger growth disappoint, or if global aviation downturn hits during repayment years, any or all of these factors could turn Bishoftu Airport into a debt amplifier rather than the opposite. So,
I don't think that
given
would
all that
happen,
we've
bro.
discussed up to this point, here are three
The way
admittedly
Africa's
tentative
growing, the way Ethiopia's growing, I feel like even more people will come to Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying? They got the new airport. That's a lot more people to tourism, more tourists to come. You feel me? I think it'll be a good, man. I think it'll be a
projections for
plus.
what Bishoftu International Airport could become in the future. First, best case scenario. This is the scenario where everything goes according to plan. Bishoftu opens on schedule, and a managed airport city forms with a real job ladder. This would make the airport a pillar of Ethiopian reform. It is, in fact, quite realistic, especially when you consider the fact that Ethiopian Airlines is already growing quite fast. And Bishoftu is, in sense, merely the solution to accommodate that already existing growth. But this scenario is far from guaranteed. Another, more middle ground scenario would be that the completion date gets extended, and Bishoftu is eventually opened but at increased cost. The strain on Bole Airport is greatly relieved, and Ethiopian Airlines is able to continue growing, but benefits are highly concentrated and perhaps broadly underwhelming, with rural Ethiopians feeling little if any impact. For what it's worth, this is what research suggests often happens with airport-led development. To put it simply, uneven success. Then there is, of course, the worst-case scenario. Unfortunately, it's all too easy to imagine what this might look like. The project could encounter unexpected delays, speed bumps could impede the financing, political instability could resurge, passenger and cargo could, for one reason or another, fall short of their current projections. These are all typical pitfalls of megaprojects, wherever they are in the world. Having said all that, it is ultimately impossible to predict what will happen. Anyone who admires bold innovation and dramatic infrastructure development cannot help but admire the high-risk, high-reward nature of Bishoftu International Airport. For a country that has weathered so much in recent decades, it would vastly understate its resilience to say Bishoftu is a make-or-break moment for Ethiopia. But the potential upside and downside are both undeniably huge. The coming years as we approach 2030 will reveal the project's destiny. All we can do for now is root wholeheartedly for its resounding success.
Yeah, we rooting. We rooting.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video.
We rooting for it, y'all. I think it'll be a success, man. Definitely the way that Africa as a whole is growing, not even just Ethiopia. Africa as a whole is growing. A lot of more people are investing in Africa. You know what I'm saying? A lot more people are coming to Africa. So a lot more people are gonna want to come to Ethiopia. With the new airlines, it's gonna provide even more seats for more people to visit. Bro, I think it'll be a success, man. I think it'll be a success. Let me know what y'all thoughts are. Hope you guys enjoy my action commentary. Too much.